welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm super excited because I am going to be talking about one of my newest obsessions, and that is cozy mysteries. So cozy mysteries have kind of become a thing that I've noticed on BookTube. I first heard about it from Peter Mon. He's obsessed with cozy mysteries and he always talks about them on his vlogs. And so I was listening to his vlogs and I started like really questioning about these cozy mysteries because he was always talking about them. And I got really curious and I decided to try a couple out. And I have since fallen down this well of cozy mysteries and I have read so many of them. I like to listen to them on audiobook, so I think almost all of these I have listened to on audiobook. So today we're going to talk about 5 different cozy mystery recommendations. These are all series. I think most cozy mysteries are. And if you are not sure what a cozy mystery is, basically, to be honest, I kind of think of them as like the Harlequin romance novels. Like I feel like Harlequin romance novels are to romance what cozy mysteries are to mysteries. So typically most cozy mysteries have a few things kind of in common. So they're usually set in a small town, and then there's like a cozy job that they usually have. So there's lots that are set in libraries where the people work in libraries, or bed and breakfast is a huge thing. People that own bed and breakfast, or hotels, inns, something like that. They're usually very food centric and they talk a lot about the foods that they're eating or the foods that they're making. There's always a mystery, usually a murder mystery, and it usually encompasses like a person who is not law enforcement whatsoever that all of a sudden starts falling into this mystery and starts trying to solve murders or whatever, and it's like an amateur sleuth sort of situation. And it's just it just gives you the vibe of wrapping up in a blanket on a cold winter's night with hot chocolate and reading these mystery books. And I don't know, I fall in love with them, so I wanted to show you guys some of my favorites. So the first series that we are going to talk about are the Haunted Library series. So they're called a Haunted Library Mystery. This is what the series is called, by Alison Brooke. And this series focuses on our protagonist. Her name is Carrie Singleton, and she has kind of moved back to this small town. And after kind of having some rough life experiences, she's moved to this small town to live with her aunt and uncle, and she has procured a job at the local library. So she's been working there all summer and she ends up getting this huge promotion, which kind of means that she's going to be staying in this small town for a while, and her life is starting to change and she's getting really excited. And while she is working at this library job, a couple of things happen. So first of all, she runs into a ghost that works at the library, that used to work at the library. And second of all, a murder happens. So Carrie ends up trying to solve this murder. And like I said, this is a series. So basically in every book, there is a murder that happens, and Carrie kind of works with this ghost that she works with at the library, and they kind of solve these mysteries, or the ghost is kind of like her sounding board basically as she's like coming through trying to figure out what's going on with these mysteries. She kind of uses the ghost as her soundboard a little bit. So there are several different books, several different murders that Carrie has to solve, and we kind of see her progression from in the very beginning. She's very unsure of herself to, you know, she starts to get more comfortable at work. She's got this promotion and things are happening. She ends up finding love, and she ends up getting this great, amazing apartment that is like by the river and everything. Like I said, it's just so cozy, and you're kind of following her along. You're kind of following along with her as she's trying to solve these mysteries. The mysteries are fun. Well, I mean, they're murder, so as fun as murder can be. But you don't really see the twist coming, which I absolutely love. And I love the fact that the setting is in a library because, I mean, we're all readers, right? I recently have gotten a job at our local library as well, and I'm actually doing a position that's quite similar to Carrie's. And so once I got that job, I just kept making the connections in my head between me and this character, and it's just fun. So this is definitely one that I recommend. It's got a little bit of everything. It's got the spooky element with the ghost that kind of helps her, and it's just fun. So the next series that we're going to talk about is by Dorinda Jones, and that is the Betwixt and Between series. So you guys might have heard, if you're interested in cozy mysteries, you probably have heard of Dorinda Jones' other series, A Bad Day for Sunshine, and she has several books in that series as well. That one has done really, really well. It's quite popular, and a lot of people that have read or that are into the cozy mysteries have read that one. But I tried reading that one and I didn't care for it as much as I like this one. Now, this one has a little bit of fantastical element to it, which is really, really fun. And I love that. Like, I just think that these books are all like silly, fun, like they're just fun. So this book starts off with our main character, whose name is Defiance. And she has inherited from a long lost grandmother. She was adopted when she was a baby, and her biological grandmother has left her a huge house. Her biological grandmother has passed away and has left her this mansion. Now, this couldn't come at a better time for Defiance because she is going through a huge transition in her life. She is getting divorced, or she actually just has recently gotten divorced, and basically left her penniless, so she can definitely use this house or this money if she sells it, whatever. And she goes and travels to this house that she has been left. She gets there and it is a huge mansion, but it is quite dilapidated, and she's not sure what she's going to do. She knows she can't afford to fix it, so she wants to sell it, but also she can't really sell it until she fixes it. So she's kind of in this gray area where she's not sure what to do. While she is there, we get to know her best friend really, really well, who comes along and helps her. She meets an exquisite man, we'll just say that. This one is heavy on the romance, heavy on the smut as well, which usually cozy mysteries don't really have a whole lot of that, but this one definitely does. This one is smut heavy, so just a warning for that. But the thing that I love about this, like I said, is the fantastical element. And that is that once Defiance is here at this house, she ends up through a series of, I don't know, events, we'll just say. She ends up finding out that she is a witch. And not only that, but she is a very powerful witch. So she has to start learning how to navigate these powers, as well as some other things that start happening. So of course there is the mystery aspect that starts to happen, which is murders and all sorts of weird mysteries that she starts to solve. And she gets herself into kind of some dangerous situations, and she's trying to, like I said, find her powers and use her powers in order to help her out in these dangerous situations. So this one is a lot of fun. Like I said, it really reminds me, I started reading this one closer to Halloween, I think it was last year, and it's just like perfect for that time of year. I have talked about this one on my channel before, and what it really reminds me of is Sabrina the Teenage Witch, only like grown-up style, because she's like 40 and she finds out that she's a witch, and she's trying to learn all these powers, and her powers are helping her with these mysteries that she has to solve. So that is a really, really fun series. There is 3 books in the series, and there's another one that's going to be coming out really soon. I think in June, or I think in July is the next book coming out. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, that one's really fun too. The next series that we're going to talk about is Haunted Guest House by E.J. Cooperman. There are, I think, 12 books in this series, so this one is quite long, but it's really fun as well. So basically we follow our protagonist Allison and her 9-year-old daughter as they move back to her hometown, I think it is. Once again, small town, and they are opening a bed and breakfast. Allison is newly divorced from her daughter's father, and they're just looking for a fresh start. So she buys this big house. It's near, I think it's near a campus. I think it's near like a college campus, and she wants to turn it into a bed and breakfast. I think it's a guest house because I think it's in this one that she doesn't know how to cook very well, so she doesn't want to do the breakfast. She just has the guest house. So she buys this house, and once she's there for a while, she ends up having an accident, we'll say, which allow her to start seeing ghosts. So she is now able to see ghosts, and as soon as she realizes that she has this ability, she is told by her daughter and her mother that they have always been able to see ghosts, and they just kind of kept her in the dark of this because they didn't want to worry her and whatever. And so now all 3 of these women in this family can see ghosts. that is when they realize that there are two ghosts living in this house. Now, the crazy thing about this is that the two ghosts are quite different. So one is a man and one is a woman. Now, the woman is quite an angry spirit. She is the former resident of the home, and the man was helping her when she was alive. He was a budding private detective who was helping her try to kind of figure out some mysteries in her life. So these ghosts are both haunting this inn, and our protagonist Allison has to deal with that while she starts kind of uncovering a huge mystery. So basically Allison ends up solving these different crimes along with these ghosts, along with her mother and her daughter, and it's just like a lot of fun. It's a really cool atmosphere because, like I said, we're set in this this guest house that she has, and you know, like it's kind of like a fun cast of characters that work on these murders and these mysteries together. They kind of all have different strengths that they bring to the table in order to solve these mysteries, and it just is kind of a group effort to solve these mysteries. So it's a mom, a daughter, a grandmother, and two ghosts, which is really fun and kind of a different sort of setting, especially a group of characters that you wouldn't really normally place together. So it's a lot of fun, and like I said, this is a longer series. I think there's 11 books in it. So okay, so this one is definitely different than all of the rest of the books, and this one has a way more fantastical element to it. I guess it's part cozy mystery, it's also part fantasy, but it is a lot of fun, and this one has I think 9 or 10 books in it, and it is a Nocturne Falls mystery, and it follows Miss Frost, who this is kind of like, it's kind of a Christmas story, Christmas series, but also a Halloween series wrapped up in one. It's really cool. So Miss Frost is the daughter of Jack Frost, who is the brother of Santa Claus. So she comes from the North Pole, and she is an elf. And we follow her as she travels to Earth, and she ends up working at Santa's workshop on Earth, which is a huge toy store that is actually owned and operated by the North Pole, by Santa Claus. Of course, people on Earth don't know this. They just think it's a normal, everyday toy store, right? But it's not. It's actually owned by Santa Claus. So she ends up being sent here by her father, Jack Frost, to kind of solve a mystery of something weird that's been going on at these toy stores. And this is placed in a Halloween town. So basically it's people that, like, it's almost kind of reminds me of like Salem, Massachusetts, where it's kind of like witches is their thing. There is a town that is just like obsessed with Halloween, and all year long it's pretty much Halloween there every day. And so this and that's how like the elves that work at this store kind of get away with it, is because people just think that they're, you know, that they're dressing up for Halloween, but really they're real elves. And this city is where a lot of other mythical creatures kind of congregate. So we meet some werewolves in this story, we meet vampires, we meet all sorts of kind of mythical creatures and that are a part of this story. So we follow her as she kind of solves this mystery, and then she ends up deciding to stay. Instead of, after this mystery is solved, instead of going back to the North Pole, she decides that she likes it here and she wants to stay. So we follow her as she continues to work at this toy store, meets all these other sort of mythical creatures that have different powers, and solves a different mystery in every book. And it is so much fun. This is, I would say, probably my favorite cozy mystery that I have read thus far, and I highly recommend this one. Like, this one is just the different elements. Like, I mean, I love Halloween. I love anything to do with like witches and vampires and ghosts and all those sorts of things. I just think that it's so fun. And the thing with these books is that they're written in a way that it's almost like, I don't want to say childlike because it's not, but it just kind of like appeals to your inner child a little bit. And I just can't get over how much fun that they are. I know I keep saying that over and over again. Your ears are like, okay, I get it. It's fun, but it just is. So the final series that we're going to talk about are a Deadwood mystery by Anne Charles, and this one follows a real estate agent who has just got her real estate license. She is a single mother to 2 twins, and she basically ends up solving mysteries on the side. So she has this real estate business that she's working at, and she's trying her hardest to sell her first house. Otherwise, she's kind of on a deadline, like she needs to sell her first house, or she's going to be looking for a new job at the end of the month. So she has that going on. She's also trying to navigate, trying to get back into the dating world. So that's kind of throwing her for a loop for a little bit, and we're kind of following her along that journey, as well as trying to figure out some issues with some of these houses that she's selling. Like there's some haunted elements there, and of course a murder mystery appears as well. So we kind of are just on this journey along with her as she's trying to figure out what's going on. There is, in the first book, there's sort of a, we'll just say, a threat against young kids, which obviously has something to do with her kids. And what I really like about it is kind of getting in to see the in behind of like the real estate world and following along with somebody that's a real estate agent, because I've always just been personally interested in that sort of career. So it's kind of fun to read about somebody from that aspect and follow her along as she kind of tries to get her professional life going, her personal life going, and then she's kind of solving mysteries and true crime in the background. So you guys, those are 5 cozy mystery series that I absolutely loved, that I think that you would really like as well. I think cozy mysteries are just starting to become really, really popular, and I think that this is going to be like, it's going to boom really, really soon. I think we're kind of on the edge where a lot of people are starting to figure out what they are, and I think it's like the next big thing. So let me know in the comments down below if you've read any cozy mysteries, if you have any series that you think I should check out. I'm always on the lookout for more. And yeah, so those are my 5. I hope you guys are having an awesome day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.